On another exciting episode of the Animation Deliberation podcast. Is that an applause we hear? No, that is the claps of Todo finally stepping into action as we talk about Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, Episode 20, Right and Wrong, Part 3. Right after these ads, we have no control over.
It's time to get your checking account to zero with free checking from PenFed. That's zero ATM fees, zero balance requirements, and zero time spent waiting for your paycheck to direct deposit because you can receive it up to 2 days early. Open your account with just $25 and see how big zero can be. Apply online today at PenFed.org/free checking. Early direct deposit eligibility may vary between pay periods and timing of payers' funding. To receive any advertised product, you must become a member of PenFed, insured by NCUA.
At Granger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call, clickgranger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Sing along if you know the words. A 1, 2, 3, it's time for Animation Deliberation. A conversation and a celebration of a favorite action animated series, yeah.
Yeah, welcome back to another episode of Animation Deliberation, the podcast where we take action, animation, and cartoons seriously, but not too seriously. We're your hosts. I'm Zuhair Ali.
And I am Andrew Rogers.
And I cannot make it clear enough that we don't take this really that seriously. It's more the content that's serious, not how we interact with each other.
No, but I really thought you were clapping and you were gonna take over the other half of the song, like it was gonna be a switch places thing. That's why that gap was there. I heard the clap. I was like, oh, he wants to tag in.
No,
he just wanted to screw with me. That
we're not
was
switching places.
definitely the answer. Well, we're definitely giving up the goat this episode. There is no spoiler-free content, but also we are 20 episodes into the season of Jujutsu Kaisen. If you really have not watched the episode, why are you listening to us?
You know, it's funny you say that, because my frustrations with this season, I feel like every episode I was saying, we only have this many episodes left. Like, we only have, like, what are we doing? What are we getting at? I haven't said that in the last 5 episodes.
Yeah, no, if anything, I'm like, I don't know how much more I can take. Like, it's a situation of I'm happy with what we have, and I know that there's only a couple left, and I'm like, good, I need
3?
a break. I believe it is 3 after this. But yeah, it's definitely a nice... I think, honestly, if anything, our complaint is going to be, as much as I'm like, oh, I need this to be over, in the next couple weeks, it's going to be, okay, how do we tie up all the loose ends? Because 3 episodes is getting close to not feeling like enough. If they don't do enough next week, we're probably going to be saying the same, like, they only have 2 left. How are they going to finish this off?
Yeah, like, do we see Gojo the rest of the season?
That's the weird thing. Like, what was it? Episode 10, maybe 12, where it was like, oh, Mei Mei is going to fight Geto.
Yeah.
And have not seen anything of Geto since that point. It has been at least 8, maybe 10 episodes since that has happened.
I could see them just cutting to her be, like, dead or beat up or something. Like, we don't even get the fight.
Honestly, I don't know how upset I would be, just because there's so many more, like, horses in this race. Like, we'll get into it when we talk about the episode, but, like, I did not think that the characters that showed up were going to be those characters, because there's already other loose ends, and I was like, oh, it's going to be that character. And, like, the fact that we have that many loose ends that is keeping me, like, questioning is a good thing, but also okay, we're getting to 3 episodes left. But for the first time in a long time, I'm not upset about it. Like, how often when we're watching, like, other anime, Demon Slayer, Attack on Titan, My Hero, all great examples where we're like, they can't leave us with any loose ends. We need to know everything. Whereas I'm kind of like, I'm okay if they leave some mystery in this, because they've done so much with the season.
One thing that doesn't leave loose ends, and one thing that will not make you upset, is the superior form of being hydrated. And that is with Liquid IV. Liquid IV, one stick of it in 16 ounces of water hydrates you 2 times faster and more efficiently than water alone. The result of an extensive R&D process to perfect the flavor and efficacy, Liquid IV combines science-backed zero-sugar technology with the brand's commitment to delicious real flavor. No artificial sweeteners and zero sugars, with a proprietary amino acid allulose blend for a sweet taste without the calories or raised blood glucose levels you get from sugar. Contains 8 vitamins and nutrients for everyday wellness, with 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drinks.
Because you bet, when you were out here fighting, demons and curses and doing all of these things, do you really think in the real world, you're going to have someone that just comes up and pats you on the back and is like, okay, you're healed now. No, you're going to have to take better care of yourself, like Zuhair and myself have. I don't know about you. I have been like fighting off this major cold that's going around. All of my coworkers are like getting super bogged down right now, and I am sitting here pretty. I have had my liquid IV for the day and was like, I am fine. I haven't gotten the sniffles, haven't gotten a cough. I am doing great. I'm feeling hydrated, and I'm just like ready to go, feeling so good because I know I have the extra hydration like at my back. I start to feel a little bit bad. I'm like, boom, vitamin C packet. Next day, feel fine. Like it's really nice to have those vitamins come to you in a delicious format, because I always was taking
Delicious.
vitamin C. Like I swore by vitamin C for the past years. Vitamin C is not a new thing, but delicious liquid IV vitamin C, that is new. And not only do they have the vitamin C flavors with the tangerine and the lemon lime, but they have an abundance of other great flavors. I love the sea berry. The pina colada is actually surprisingly good. I didn't know what I was going to think of that one, but I did try that one recently, and I was like, this is pretty neat, because like usually pina colada gets weird when it's not creamy, but that's
Yeah.
besides the point. They have an abundance of flavors all on their website. Not only does it all taste great, but it is great for you and great for the world, because Liquid IV is non-GMO and free from gluten, dairy, and soy. And Liquid IV believes that equitable access to clean and abundant water is the foundation of a healthier world. They partner with leading organizations to fund and foster innovative solutions that help communities protect both their water and their futures. To date, Liquid IV has donated over 39 million servings in 50 plus countries around the world.
So, what are you waiting for? Get 20% off when you grab your Liquid IV Hydration Multiply Sugar Free or any other variant, like the immune support, at liquidiv.com and use code STAYWHELMED at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code STAYWHELMED at liquidiv.com.
And as always, thank you for supporting the brands that support animation, Deliberation. And without further ado, we've talked a bunch about the season, a bunch about the episode. I think we just want to get into it, so I'm going to jump in with the synopsis while I watch Zuhair probably hydrate himself with his liquid IV.
I got a new Hydro Flask, the big
Oh, he's got the
40 ounce
Stanley
thing.
Cup.
No,
He's
it's
a
a Hydro
TikTok
Flask. I didn't
girly.
want to be that much of a basic
Oh,
B.
I don't know. It's a gray Hydro Flask with the big straw and the handle coming out.
But it's not a
Ah,
Stanley.
I don't know. It's not a Stanley,
But
but
I have
it's
been drinking
pretty
so much
close.
more.
If you
Straws make a weird difference. I don't get it, but it does it.
Straws do make a weird difference. I will say, listeners, stainless steel straws over silicon straws. I'm not going to get into that, but please just trust me on that one when it comes down to it. But besides the point, right and wrong, part 3, because that was the weirdest tangent that we could have taken along the way. Yuji gives.
It's like we can't wait to talk about this, so we're gonna skip everything and get to the synopsis. We're gonna go on a tangent about fucking water bottles and straw.
How about your water bottle? Mine is sitting over here perfectly okay, just out of frame, so we don't have to talk about guts. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we really
I'm done.
take things seriously, but not too seriously, because that's staying in the edit. Right and Wrong, Part 3. Yuji goes into shock seeing Nobara's seemingly lifeless body, thinking about everybody in Shibuya he failed to save. Mahito takes advantage of his mental state and pounds away at him, even executing a black flash while mocking his poor resolve. Todo then appears, saving Yuji before he is killed. Todo gives Yuji a pep talk to help him out of his funk, while his injuries are healed by Arata Nita. Arata also attempts to heal Nobara's body as much as he can despite her breath and pulse having already ceased, effectively preserving it in a state of stasis. Todo begins to fight Mahito, and with a newfound resolve, Yuji joins the battle. Meanwhile, the rest of the Kyoto students make their way to Shibuya to support. Miwa talks to Mekamaru's puppet, who becomes incredibly upset over Mekamaru manipulating events to protect them, which she believes is him calling them weak. Before he disappears, Mekamaru tells Miwa how he wanted to protect the girl he loved no matter what, and hopes that she will be happy, as she breaks down in tears. Yuji, Todo, and Mahito's battle continues, with Todo's curse technique alongside Nobara's previous intervention proving to be more troubling for Mahito. After Todo executes his own Black Flash, Mahito unleashes a horde of transfigured humans, bursting everyone back onto the streets of Shibuya.
Yeah, we had a lot of cool action in this episode, but I think I want to hit the smaller story first so that we don't forget it later. Last week we were talking about how we've gotten to the point in the season where we're looking at the intro a little bit more and trying to, get little cues and stuff of what's going to happen or what has happened, just relationships and stuff. And the fact that they just zoom in on Nobara and she has her hand over her eye and it's
Oh
just
yeah.
there. I was like, man, you told us that week one. That's something. So seeing that, and then we see Miwa crying. So when Mekamaru, we were first questioning if he was actually dead or not. Seemingly is. We were wondering like what this relationship would be like, how far it would go, what Miwa's, I guess, motive would be after this. Is she gonna fight? Is she just gonna mourn? And everything about that scene was just so beautifully done, especially the fact that like whenever Mekamaru was talking, they just kept switching over to the empty seat. And I
Yes.
thought that it was just symbolic, but the fact that they actually used it in the reflection afterwards, I was like, see, this is why we love Mappas when they do stuff like this and the symbolism and the beautiful just aspects that we can just admire and just the creativity. And then it's just, you do things to make me mad at you. But stuff like that was just wonderful. And the fact that like one of my favorite lines is her answering the phone going, useless Miwa here. And to have this conversation and be like, is it because I'm useless? Did you not tell me because I'm stupid or I'm useless or I'm weak and this and that? And just the amount you words. You don't realize like how much character growth that we've gotten just from seeing them within a season. And it like breaks our hearts that we haven't even had that much time with them and we have to like say bye to them or see them in the state and this and that. So everything about that sequence between Miwa and Mekamaru was just absolute perfection.
Yeah, I think you said it well, and all of their friends in between the train cars just waiting because they knew that this moment was going to be more important to Miwa than anyone else was like equally as heartbreaking because you know that they're upset about everything going on and they probably think that they could be helping more, and the lines of like, oh, this whole Todo isn't going to die nonsense, does that mean he thought we were going to die? And the answer's probably yes, just going to
Mm-hmm.
start off with that, but like so much of that scene made sense from a perspective of especially of the people that aren't there. They aren't seeing the chaos that we are seeing. Instead, they just know that their friends are all in the thick of something right now that they probably feel like they could have helped with. But yeah, you said it well. The entirety of the scene was so moving with Miwa. You talked about the scene, the usage of the seat, and I think one of the other cool things was the lights going by. A couple times when they showed Mekamaru, I thought like the robot was shedding a tear almost because the way that the light would like run over it. I don't know if it was intentional, but it was just so beautiful and so unnecessary to have so much detail outside of the moving train and continuing on. Like, yeah, they did a great job. And I that's one thing I don't think we've sung the praises of this show enough about is just how short this show is. We have had under 2 seasons and we know a dozen characters very well. We care about all of them. We're upset that we lost Mekamaru so soon. We feel upset that like this is the first time pretty much all season that we've seen Miwa aside from that single scene at the beginning where she was like sitting on the bench talking to Mekamaru for a couple of moments. Yet we're still so drawn into the relationship that they have despite never really seeing it on the screen. They do a great job with the character development, and like we talked about it in the first arc and then we lost that to the chaos that was the Shibuya incident. But this is a character driven show, and that's one thing that we can never take away from it is these characters are all delightful, and that's why we're so upset to see so many of them go.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add about this train sequence before we go over to arguably my favorite character?
Arguably your favorite character. No, I don't want to talk more about the train sequence, but before we talk about the Todo in the room, I do think it's important to talk about the Nobara sequence at the beginning because the synopsis like didn't even
You didn't
touch
want to
on
see
it.
Hairbun Gorilla in the room?
No, it was Top Knot Gorilla. That's what
Top
it
Knot
was.
Gorilla.
It was Top Knot Gorilla. No, I just wanted to talk, and I feel like Jill summed it up best. She texted me this afternoon and was like, "They reverse Juju scrolled us," which is exactly what happened. Was like this episode started with a goofy little scene about them spilling coffee on
So
Gojo's shirt.
good.
And I was like, oh, we're going to get a break this episode. It's going to be nice. We're going to get some backstory and say goodbye to Nobara. And within 3 minutes, it then switches to her lifelessly staring down Itadori, and then Itadori getting the pulp beat from him. Like, I thought they were giving us a break, and then they tore it away from me, and I was not okay with that because that opener was just so fun. And I was like,
Yeah.
yay, we love this. We love the way our little Naruto trio gets along with Sensei. Like, it's fun.
Yeah, that was really cute. I definitely enjoyed that scene quite a bit. I'm not going to say any names, but to the person that I know personally that decided to look at one of my memes and just message me saying that Nobara is not dead, like, you just suck. Thank you for spoiling that for me, because the whole time I was watching, I was like, oh yeah, that's how she's possible. Yeah, cool, thanks, appreciate that.
And that's the thing. I had said goodbye to Nobara. I was so like aptly surprised to even get a glimmer of hope that she could still be alive.
Yeah, I love the way that he put it too. It's like, it's not 100%. Don't have too much faith in this.
Yeah, I was like, that. This is like speaking directly to the fans. Like, hey, don't get your hopes up. We're not promising anything. But yeah, no, that was
I like
crazy.
hope.
And then I quite literally threw my pen because I was taking little notes, and like it was, and this is kind of what I alluded to. If they had so many loose threads hanging, that when Itadori was saved from that killing blow, I was like, oh, so like Sukuna? No, Sukuna wouldn't come back to save him from death. Oh, maybe it's Choso. Like Choso's coming back to save his quote unquote like brother, since we still have that weird cliffhanger. And then when I realized that it was a clap, I threw my pen. I was taking note that I just threw my pen onto my desk, like, yes, he's here. It's Todo.
So I thought he was gonna save Nobara last week, because from that
Ooh.
opener, there's a sequence of them fighting Mahito. So I was like, oh, like, I'm not worried about Nobara. He's gonna come in, he's gonna clap out of there, they're gonna fight together, we're good to go. And then I was like, oh no, she did.
No, she
She
did.
she she got her eye popped. And then when he showed up today, I'm like, there it is. You're a little late, but I'm happy you are here, sir.
Little
Beautiful
late.
top knot gorilla.
Yeah, you say a little
And
late,
the
but
speech.
the speech, his style, his all of it, just like he carries a spotlight with him, I swear. Like
Mm-hmm.
everyone else is getting regular train station lighting, and this man is glowing and glittering like as he gives that speech, just like JoJo's level muscle rippling. It was
Freaking
so
winky
good.
kiss at the end of the episode
Oh my god, yeah, that
from
being the
his
final
idol.
card. I was like, really? Really, this is what we're gonna go with? You talk about his idol, but his idol being like what he was doing in that final Black Flash Sailor Moon moment. Ah,
Yeah,
no.
everything about this episode was just absolutely incredible.
Oh, it was great. It was absolutely stunning. All of the animation, this fight scene, like I don't think you could beat Sukuna versus the Divine Sword. But I will say, I think even this fight scene beats anything we saw in season one. Like the first clap fight was good. I feel like this one was just like such a level above it because of how much these characters have grown and how strong they truly are now.
I won't get into it just because of my animation quirks with this season.
Animation quirks were here a bit this episode for sure. But I'm just
Yeah, I
saying in
don't I don't
terms of
think it
like
topped the first one for me, but it was, that bar is also just so freaking high. It was still really up there.
I don't know though. I just think the like emotion that this gave and the like gravity of the situation is just so much more that I can't help but to be drawn in by this fight. And then yeah, how are we doing it for Nanami all the time? It's just going to be doing it for Nanami now. Like,
Yeah, and the fact that, again, like, the symbolism is so beautiful here. Every time that Yuji looked, like, there was a scene of Nanami from Yuji's perspective, it was him missing half of his face because of
yep.
the regret and the sin and the wanting to run away and giving up and all of that. But the fact that, like, after the pep talk, you got to see him like as he knew him, as he remembered him, full face and all. Like that was
Yep.
so beautifully done.
Full suit, glasses on. That's exactly where I was going. Thank you. It it moved more because of that. And like this whole time I was just like, oh no, this is his last image in his head. That's what he's going to remember forever. And no, that's not it. You get to remember the good when you need their support. Oh, chills.
Yeah,
Absolute chills, tears. It was so good.
it's not because it's 30 degrees here.
Yeah, you look pretty chilly today.
Yeah, I got my touchy hoodie on.
Well, not everyone can be running around fighting curses. Was I want to ask you because I was ready for Mahito to be dead at the end of this episode. I really was. Like, I was not ready for a you haven't seen my final form yet. And then to know that they were like at a small percentage of their power until now. I was like, no, no, they need to level up. What do you mean?
It's funny you say that because as I was watching the fight, like when Itadori entered the ring, my brain instantly went, "What if this isn't the end of Mahito? Like they're gonna give us this big sequence, and they're quite to kill off our guys, but like we already killed off 3 other special grades.
I mean,
He hasn't even
Mahito's.
hit his domain expansion yet.
Oh, does Mahito have a domain expansion?
He
Do we
used it
know
for the
that?
first time last season,
Oh, yeah, you're right.
and it was a lot of hands, and it was really creepy.
Does he even have that power with only so much of his soul left? But there's also
Do you
that.
remember him like his hands getting close to it? He's like, "I'm so close."
Yeah.
I think he's charging for his domain expansion right now.
Yeah, that was the mention of like, oh, I'm so close to my final soul, like what that power actually entails. We can guess that it's domain expansion, but it could be something even worse.
It'll definitely start with one and lead to the other. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not sure this season is the end of Mahito.
I don't know if Yuji can rest if it's not the end of Mahito. Because that's the thing. We could also just get 3 more episodes of fighting Mahito. Like Geto is next season's villain. Like he just comes back again.
Yeah.
I don't know where the show goes. Like legitimately though. It's just like
Yeah. How long is this supposed to be? Oops.
it's okay. You can spit on your mic. It's fine.
I mean, I like to.
Yeah. Honestly, this show, like it's getting to the point that like anytime I think about it, I just like shudder a little bit at everything that has happened because it was also pointed out to me that everything in the last like 4 or 5 episodes has happened to Yuji in like 15 minutes.
Did I
Like
send you
he
that on Instagram?
maybe you did. I don't believe that you did, but like someone sent me something similar that was not you. Where yeah, it's just like he woke up from being Sukuna, came down, started fighting Mahito, watched 2 of his friends die somewhat before him, all in like the span of 15 minutes. That is the most like, yeah, I think he's winning the like, I've been traumatized by the events of my anime game.
This whole arc has been over the span of what, 2 hours?
A little bit more than that. We're getting close to midnight. I wouldn't be surprised if the season ends on midnight just to be like, well, it's not Halloween anymore or something like that. And it started Gojo entered the bubble at I think it was about like 8 p.m. or something like that.
That was closer to 9, but you could be right.
Let's see. I have the timeline here somewhere. I stopped a little while back. Yeah, Gojo entered at 8:30. The last note that I have was at 10:20, and that was when Nanami entered the Shibuya station. So a lot of things have happened since that point. But yeah, at the very least, it's still only been like a 4-hour stretch at most. That's a lot. That is a lot of like. I remember when we started this arc where I was like, oh, I want these timestamps because I love knowing how short these things can be. I didn't think it was going to be this short. I didn't.
The
I thought it was
curtain
going to.
was cast at 7 p.m.
Curtain was cast. There you go. That's part of what it was the veil. Like
Gojo
it.
enters at 8:31.
Yep. That's exactly what I had. I told you I was taking notes. I got
I
them
know.
up to a
That's why I
point.
asked you first.
But yeah, I expected it to be like, oh, we're going to start at 8 p.m. and it's going to be like sunrise when this ends. I would not be surprised if it's like midnight or 12:01 on November the 1st when this ends.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know what else to do about this episode. Just speculate.
Yeah, I mean, the episode was great. We're talking about like how nice it was to get some fun things, but like speculation is all we have left because yeah, there's nothing more that can be said. It's getting to the point that it's interesting to podcast about this because they keep changing anything that I think is going to happen. It's not like when I watch many other shows where we're like, okay, we can see the pieces falling into place. We know what they're trying to set up. This is what they were kind of setting up for a while. Like we're just in the thick of it and they keep throwing haymaker after haymaker and character after character at this problem. So yeah, the life of a podcaster was interesting. Even watching this episode, I was like, I only have a couple of notes, and it's
Yeah.
not often that you can only get a couple of notes out of me.
Yeah. I'm not sure I have too much more to add.
I honestly don't think I do. I looked at the clock expecting us to have gone so much longer than we did. But
Action
honestly,
folded ones are hard to talk about.
that's true. Also, this episode felt like it flew by. I was like, I don't even think we got a commercial break this time. I think it just kept going.
I was
And
wondering about that. I was like, where was the stopping point?
I don't think there was. And I honestly, I thought we were like 10 minutes in and I heard the final music start playing and I was like, what? No. Like it kept cruising right along, which was awesome. I
Yep,
like
I
it when
can't wait
they
to.
go short.
I say this every week. I can't wait to binge all of it together in English.
Yeah, I'm probably going to get that again at some point because Monica, I mentioned she fell off early in the season and she just never caught back up. So
I don't
at
blame her.
some point she's going to have to rebid it. Well, you don't blame her for falling off early, but now that we're here in the thick of it, I'm like, gosh, you are
Where
missing.
are you?
And I'm so sorry. Sorry. Cannot continue that one. But yeah, I can't blame her for falling off, but now that we're like in such a thick, I'm like, you are missing some of the greatest week to week content that we've gotten in a while.
Yep.
But there's plenty of other week to week content coming out. We have Invincible stuff that we're talking about. There's other great shows. We have Boy and the Heron is coming out this weekend. Spy Family movie coming up at some point with the end of the season just happening. Yeah,
Spy Family and was it Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. What are they crossing over with?
What?
Didn't you send it to me?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, so I can't remember if it was Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, but Spy Family is like doing a crossover with it.
It can't be Mortal Kombat, can it?
Okay, no, it was Street Fighter then.
Well,
And
I just can't imagine Anya doing a fatality here.
I don't play fighter games like that, so I always get them mixed up.
Waka,
Was it
waka,
Street
waka,
Fighter?
waka, waka, waka. Finish him.
Yeah. Street Fighter 6,
It's
Spy
Street
Family.
Fighter. Oh,
It
it's
was
Yor.
Chun-Li versus Yor.
Yeah, Yor versus Chun-Li. Ooh, that is...
in the teaser, and it was such a cool fight between the two of them.
Bruh, what is this?
You gotta watch it. It's cool.
This looks gorgeous. Like, just this one scene of them, like, crossing legs. Oh my gosh.
Oh, little
Yeah.
smirks.
Gonna have to check that out. Oh my gosh. I have not played Street Fighter in a long time, but you're about to watch me pay a bunch of money for that.
All right. I did watch the My Hero OVA.
I went to watch it on Crunchyroll this weekend, and the subtitles were wildly wrong. Like, I got through the first, like, 2-3 minutes, and I could tell that they were, like, a sentence or two behind, and I looked at Monica, and because she speaks Japanese, and she's like, yeah, no, this is not at all keeping up with what's happening, so I'm gonna have to go back and see.
I actually had it in English, and I just switched to that.
Maybe that's it. I'll have to see if Crunchyroll has fixed that in the last week, but I definitely went to do that this weekend and just completely fell off. I did recently start, gosh, I cannot remember the name of this anime, but it is suddenly taken to the headlines. I definitely want to call it out. Gosh, now of course it's just not going to show up. Do you know what I'm talking about? The anime that has taken over as the number one on like most of the lists here?
I honestly have to force myself to watch Jujutsu Kaisen now because I've been so busy with personal stuff. So no, I do not know.
Frieren? Yeah, Frieren Beyond
Mm-mm.
Journey's End it is an anime about like what happens after the adventure, like episode 1 starts, the Demon King has been defeated kind of thing. And it's
Spoilers.
yeah, I mean episode 1, I don't care. But yeah, basically it's about an elf woman who is like in most fantasy worlds, elves are mostly immortal, so she's living for hundreds of years after and like seeing what is happening to the world in like peacetime. And it is like I would compare it to Violet Evergarden if you know anything about that, where every episode is like the beauty and tragedy kind of thing.
Hmm.
I'm like 3 episodes in. It's absolutely gorgeous and moving, but the most recent episode that came out made it so that it was rated higher on my anime list than what has been the reigning #1 show for years of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Interesting.
So I don't
Yeah,
know how
send me
that
both of those
happened.
names.
I'm sure FMAB is probably overtaken it because all the fans have bombed the ratings on the websites. But either way, I started that and like the start of it was beautiful. And I really want to know like what else does this show have in store to know that it is jumped to the heights. Definitely want to call that out. There's always plenty of good anime coming out. We can only share and watch so much. Like we said, we're having to force ourselves to watch things. Hopefully I'm going to see the Marvels finally this weekend. So it's a busy time, but it's a great time to be a fan of animation and everything we do. And you know, if you're fans of other things, we have plenty of other shows in the Stranded Panda Network, which you can totally check out for all of your favorite fandoms. If you want to know what fandoms, our cohort Jay Scotty is a host on the Multiverse News, which covers things from all over the multiverse of fandoms and would definitely direct you toward what you want to find. So if you want to find, you know, things about Marvel, they have that. If you want to find things about comic books, we got that. If you want to find horror movies, we got that. We have all sorts of different things, but a great place is Multiverse News, as well as just strandedpanda.com. I'm not going to list off our social medias because Zuhair lovingly does that at the end of every episode. So don't let him fool you. That's not pre-recorded. He does that every single time.
It's perfect sync every time.
Yeah, perfect sync with the music. I'm sitting there dancing while he lists it off. Even when he's not here, he comes in to list it off. It's great.
We're just good like that.
If only we were good like that. And
So
if
we'll spare no time. Like just you can just listen to it now. Be sure to tune in next time. That's TOONIN, and as always, stay wound.
he really just wanted to shut me up from my rambling, it's a good call. Muscle.
Thank you for listening to the Animation Deliberation Podcast, a proud member of the Stranded Panda Network. If you would like to contact us, you can email animationdeliberationpodcast@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter @animationdelib1. For this and other great shows, you can visit strandedpanda.com or join the great community that is the Stranded Panda Chat Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/svchat. Tune in next time, and remember, stay whelmed.
When you save on auto insurance for driving safe with USAA Safe Pilot, you'll feel like a big deal, even in a traffic jam. Save up to 30% with USAA Safe Pilot. Restrictions apply.
We made USAA insurance for veterans like James. When he found out how much USAA was helping members save, he said,
It's time to switch.
"We'll help you find the right coverage at the right price." USAA. What you're made of, we're made for. Restrictions apply.
The United States Border Patrol has exciting and rewarding career opportunities with the nation's largest law enforcement organization. Border Patrol agents enjoy great pay, outstanding federal benefits, and up to $20,000 in recruitment incentives for newly appointed agents. If you are looking for a way to serve something greater than yourself, consider the United States Border Patrol. Learn more online at cbp.gov/careers/USBP. That's cbp.gov/careers/USBP.